Yeah, you know it all. Yeah, well, I know enough. Great place. No. Come on in. Yeah, I got you already.
That's my wee girl. Come on, Joanne. Mr. Balloon.
Having a good shot. There she is. Thank you.
Manager,
yes, Billy. I'm delighted to be here, and it's great that the weather has held up so nicely.
This is my wife, Janet.
Hello, how are you?
My daughter, Joanne.
Hello, Joanne, how are you?
All right. The councillors are. This is my vice chairman, Councillor Bernard McGuinness.
Hello, how are you? Lovely to be here.
Councillor Sean Maloney, Labour Party.
How are you?
We've
met so many times.
I don't know if I can shake your hand.
Councillor Francis Brennan,
Ah, yes.
Councillor Bert Call from Gidor.
Yes, you bear a resemblance, all right. Look at you closely. Nice to meet you. How are you?
Councillor Maureen Duhan from Ankara. Councillor Jim Ferry from Cana.
How are you?
Liam Kelly, Acting County Secretary.
Hello.
Councillor Harry Binney. Don't have to tell you what the lady comes in. Councillor Seamus Rogers. Councillor Dennis McGonigal.
How are you? Nice to meet you.
Councillor Eddie O'Donnell.
Very nice.
Councillor James McBride. Councillor Colin Gallagher. Councillor Colin Boyle. Councillor Peter Kennedy. Councillor J.J. Reid. Councillor Seamus Gill. Danny Harkin. Paddy Keaveney, former member of the Oireachtas. Hugh Cunningham, former member of the Oireachtas. Assistant County Manager Steve Maloney. Councillor Deputy Paddy Hart. And County Engineer James McShane. Jim Phillips. All right, we'll move inside. We'll take your places in the chamber. We'll move inside.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Oh, there you are. Now we'll only keep the present for a matter of 10 or 15 minutes until you'll be back out to your desk.
Have you known your man out for cats?
No.
Very well.
Yeah. Take your wine.
is customary on these occasions, we commence our proceeding with a prayer. You may remain seated. Here mi dort a hirna an al nefa corfoin, con sin astura in arganefra agus nyarpa gras da brunorin, con ida hort con creeka. On us goruit set us no for our nilla bleher, as our nilla gania plasta, as for trade a fake no for tree crease our dearna. Amen. Direct we beseech thee, O Lord, our actions by thy holy inspirations, and carry them on by thy gracious assistance, that every word and work of ours may always begin from thee, and by thee be happily ended. Through Christ our Lord. Auktrain, Kahirli and Corlafonte, Cotawanastor, Gorlori, Agus Greenuishla, Ta Falcheroy, Galair, Craig, Okai, Star Oil, Specialty Shop. So in Falche Specialta Rota Auktrain. President, Chairman of the Donegal County Council, County Manager, Councillors, ladies and gentlemen, you are all very, very welcome to this historical and very special occasion on which Donegal County Council accords a civic reception to the first citizen and President of Ireland, President Mary Robinson. You, President, are especially welcome. Thank you for coming. And I now will call on the Chairman of Donegal County Council, Councillor Joachim Lofrey, to make a formal address of welcome.
Uachtaran, the fear five-year-old hold the hundred now. Your Excellency, Vice Chairman and members, manager and staff. Your Excellency, during my term of office, I've had the pleasure and privilege of welcoming you to various parts of Donegal. I welcomed you to Letterkenny, the commercial capital of our county, to Malin, the tidy town capital of our county and indeed of our country. Earlier today to Ballyshannon, the artistic and cultural capital of our county. I understand tomorrow that you'll be visiting Ramelton, I stress in my own electoral area. The historical capital of our county today, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the administrative capital of our county and especially to our county council chamber. I have had the pleasure, Your Excellency, as you know, of being in the Senate during your time there, and your many contributions to various debates marked out the contribution that you would make in a wider way to a wider audience as our President. Your contributions were away and above those of the rest of us mere mortals. You've met the various members, or all the members of our council outside the door. They do represent all the various shades of political opinion in Ireland. Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Labour, Independent Fianna Fáil, Workers' Party or Democratic Left, and the Donegal Progressive Party, and Sinn Féin, Jim Ferry of Sinn Féin. That diversity is representative of the diverse opinion we have in Donegal, but we do work together in the common interests of the people of our county. We know that our county of Donegal has a special place in your mind and in your heart, resulting from your mother coming from our county, and we would like to think that we in Donegal offer a warmth to people coming into our county. I have no doubt that the warmth that you portray in your many visits, part of that comes from your Donegal heritage. In our county we represent all of our people, 128,000 people, over an area of 1,800 square miles. In Donegal we have the capital of the Gaeltacht, and indeed Maureen Dubin might care to call her town for the capital of the Gaeltacht, being the largest town in the Gaeltacht. Tathagin Oakran and Grad Hagat and Changa Gilliga, agus an Irat at Janta Agat on Glass agus an Lifford at Hosig, before the Vian and Rodkian Agadu. Bishop the Kush Ahas Agat Marshan, Goal Costa Gilliga and Lush Again Sakol Lakonda. And the aims of that committee is to try to improve the Irish language, but more particularly to try to improve the way of life of the people of our Gaeltachts. We are also aware, President, of your concern for our environment, and you'll be glad to know that we have in Donegal an environmental committee that has been very, very active since its inception about 3 years ago. We have touched on many serious issues that concern us in Donegal. Recently, the Glentower dump in your own area near CARNDONAGH, DuPont, the proposed incinerator at DuPont in Derry, the quality of water in my own Mulroy Bay, and various other aspects. This county is concerned with the environment. Finally, as I understand from our historic records, we have not had the privilege of being visited specifically in this council or in this chamber by our president, so therefore we're certainly appreciative here. I mentioned the diversity of opinion earlier of our members, and there is. And your portrait, President, will give witness to that diversity manifesting itself on other occasions when you are not here personally. You're very welcome to our chair.
And I now ask the Donegal County Manager, Mr. Seamus Dooley, to add his words of welcome.
Uachtarán na hÉireann cá hiarla córa chunta DONEGAL cóirlóirí is a gcuine uaisle go léir. Ba bhailm éon trú le gach rud atá ráite an cathaoirla. Agus mo hon féin agus ar son muintir DONEGAL chuireann fáilte Caillig Road go dtí Argúndé. Is ócáid darúil speisialta é seo, mar sé an céad uair riamh a bhronn an cóirla civic reception uachtarán na hÉireann, agus tá míad go léir buí de bhar gur ghlachtú leis árghuire chun teachtain ár meas. Tá sa gcuin go bhfuil grás speisialta gotain do trí I dtéar DONEGAL, mar bhí tú go minic san Cúndé seo mar chalín óg ar do léithe sira. Your Excellency, I wish to endorse what the Chairman has said and to convey a warm and sincere welcome to you to Donegal and to offer you our best wishes in your presidency. In the lead up to today, there has been a notable air of excitement and expectancy about the place, and the Council, through its staff and its members, aided and abetted, I may say, by the local community, have worked very hard over the past few weeks to ensure a successful and pleasurable day for all. I would like to thank everybody sincerely for their contribution and for their efforts to making today a success. Tá sa gom go bhfuil marán le déanamh agat sa nám gara atá agat san Cúndé, agus chun críochnú, guím brá dé ar do chuid obair ar san muintir na hÉireann.
And I will now ask Councillor Maureen Doohan to read COURTHOUSE as Gaeilge and then in English a formal address and present the scroll to the President.
Our friend, the word Anya Carla expel Coiler Hyundai Grenanal, Fudge of Grey of Boyla. I saw Muncher Hyundai Style Show, Air Operate, the Kid Courage Officer, Higgin Gorda Show, CO.COUNCIL, more extra the Heron. And he was honest that our friend, Dave Serena, a hard for broad, or popular base, to be at a while. And he was foster, Dave Serena, a well had a broad as a good lunchers, then, like cancer in the show, because I've been in all. Takfena, Stern, Exmission Augusta, go Farshin, against the Milashin, mining to Grey, El Greyhead, as excellent in chair shop. To Troshin, a seaweed down the hair and leg be contact in the lawn. Huntossi in the Kajarkana, Amershin Hen, Breu Hagadoin, and a Sabre Pio, I reckon sufficient. As far the eat and welted, a small existential chair shop. This Kamalashin, can more with ball the gat Elikinal than a pre-recognition heron, INAUGURATION seo I fada an wa. Is near than Corla Conde, Gurguicha Lodger, Funyava E. Gunanal. I was called more cut Duslan as Jishin and Rimpi and Mohan Shaw. Is near than Corla Foster, 12-3 Park like Glockwiki Fane, I was much good year. I dulling left Mr. Duslan Shin. I was the Shansony Shaw. Is the Shin Spirit of Hussy Shaw, a hot McPhear Falter Road, out of Madam President, we, the Chairman and members of the Donegal County Council, representing the people of this historic county, desire to bid you a hearty C.O.COUNCIL on this, the occasion of your first official visit to the Council since your election as President of Ireland. We recognise in you a first citizen of whom any people might feel proud, wise and prudent and courageous, as well as sensitive to the many strands that make up our country. We also recognise in you a first citizen proud of our Inishowen heritage. Donegal is a county in which many ways embodies the entire island of Ireland, forward and outward looking, yet mindful of its rich and living traditions. Home to the largest Gaeltacht in the country and to all of the major religious denominations in Ireland. Donegal County Council is conscious of the strength of the county and the challenges and opportunities it faces. It is also conscious of its role in meeting these challenges and availing of these opportunities. And it is in this spirit that we bid you heartily welcome, Madam President.
I got Councillor Dohan, and I now invite you to respond to the welcome.
Tom Spearbuick Deal, us on Falchu Ifigu, on Falchu Sorolin, a Kershaw Rowan in you, or on Ocoid Saru Shop, Macade Court Marutron, G. Lifford, August Courtella at our Yenahurum, Arash Gaji, Dunanal, Thaw on Officerum, Veharasheris, and Kundi Dukas Shop, Kundi Dukas Mawaher Fane, August Tom Spearbuick Deal Galer, us on Falchashin, a Kershaw Rowan. I'm delighted to have this opportunity to accept the invitation of Donegal County Council to a civic reception. I was very touched when, in the first months of my term of office as President, I received a letter, an official letter, congratulating me on my election and inviting me to a civic reception. And I must say, I suppose it's at the early stages that these things matter a great deal, and I was very touched. I was also very touched when I came in this evening and saw my face staring down at me, my portrait staring down at me. And this is the first occasion that I've had to come here to Lifford and to respond positively, therefore, to the invitation. But as you said, Chairman, I have, and I'm glad to say I've had, a number of occasions before coming here for this civic reception to visit parts of Donegal as President of Ireland. It is true that Donegal does have a special place in my heart, and I don't say that in every county. It is simply because not only do I associate it very much with my mother and all her family, I also associate it with my childhood and my childhood memories are of coming to Donegal and of having inevitably, as children always remember it, I think, the sunshine, the beaches in Inishowen and so on. But I also, I think, have had since then a sense of Donegal, or is it the two Donegals or the three Donegals? Certainly a sense of the size and variety of County Donegal. Its sheer physical beauty, first of all, which I think you may become accustomed or used to, but strikes me every time I visit. And I've had enough occasions since I took up office as President to get a reasonable sense of what is happening in the modern Donegal. And I want to give you my perspective on that, because it's not the whole story. It's not, in fact, what you primarily, as county councillors, deal with, which are the tough, realistic problems. But it is a particular perspective that I think it's worth being a witness to, and it's worth talking about briefly on the occasion of this civic reception. During last year, as you mentioned, Chairman, I was invited to come and open an information and tourism centre in Letterkenny, and received a very warm reception there in the heart of Letterkenny. And then I went to Dunluath, my first visit there, and I'll be going back there, I'm glad to say, tomorrow. And that gave me a sense of the kind of community involvement in both places, a great community self-development. More recently, when I was in Inishowen, I had 3 occasions, and each of them confirmed the impression. 3 occasions to mark the amount of community self-development, the pulling together at local level, and the building on the heritage that you have here in Donegal. The first was in Buntranagh, when I opened the Tullyarvan Mill. A marvellous project, creating jobs, giving wonderful opportunities for young people, with a sheltered workshop, with an exhibition of the textile industry, which is so important in Donegal. All of these being brought together in a very positive way that generates not only jobs, but a sense of the heritage and of building for the future in the Buntranagh area. I then crossed over to Moville, a place I know very well from my childhood, and opened an environmental centre in the middle of Moville on behalf of the Moville Women's Environmental Group and the Greencastle Moville Environmental Group, 2 groups cooperating together with this information centre. Again, reinforcing a point you made, Chairman, about the valuing of the environment and having opportunities to provide reliable, accurate information and to work together to secure and enhance and support the wonderful environment here in County Donegal. And then I went to Malin for what was not just an occasion for Donegal, but for the whole country. The fact that Malin had won the Tidy Towns competition, and that therefore it was the model place, the model village in the whole country. And it was lovely to see the Malin that I know having achieved that remarkable second award. It won its first award in either 1970 or certainly 1970s. I've forgotten exactly the detail, and it won it for 1991, and that was what I was presenting. And this time I've had the opportunity to come here more to South Donegal, starting with Ballyshannon, where I was invited to, first of all, meet and be received by the town commissioners, and then open the Abbey Centre, the new art centre in Ballyshannon. A facility that I must say is one that would be envied by any town of Ballyshanon's general size around the country. It is a magnificent theatre, cinema, and place for the performing arts, for music, which of course Ballyshannon is very strong in. Now, that again is building on the strengths of the tradition of performing arts in Ballyshannon. And coming here across to Lifford, I came via Stranorlar, where I was able to stop briefly in 2 schools, the vocational school and St. Columba's School, and get an insight into the very positive approach, not just to education, but preparation for living in our schools here in Donegal. A rounded approach, a very generous, open approach on behalf of the youngsters, and great self-confidence and self-development on their part. And now I've come here to Lifford, and I'm delighted to have been invited after this civic reception to launch a project very dear to my heart, a whole regeneration project here in Lifford. I won't talk about it now, because otherwise I'll be doubling up on what I might say later, but it's the kind of project that is part of my sense of the modern Donegal. Donegal has, I think, in the past, and this is my experience as somebody, as I say, at least a little bit in touch with the county, felt sometimes that it has not been as close to the centre of power or of operations, being a county like this to the north of Northern Ireland, part of it, a county in the northwest of Ireland. What pleases me very much is the active self-development and regeneration that is going on in Donegal, that it has a wonderful combination of the local authority and voluntary organisations, and I'm glad to be able to witness substantial funding from the International Fund for Ireland, because that is a very important opportunity and resource and asset in an area like Lifford and like Donegal as a whole. So that what I have is a very real sense of a strength on the ground that may be underestimated, because people here in Lifford know what's happening here, and you as individual councillors know in particular your own area and probably have an overview of the county as county councillors. But I'm in a position where I'm asked to open or be present on occasions which are really occasions to value the self-development of local communities. And the occasions that I've had here in Donegal certainly give me a very positive sense of local initiative, local enterprise, and above all, working well together, integrated development between the various resources that there are, and that includes FOSS and it includes the other state agencies. And that is a very real strength of the modern Ireland. And if Donegal can have that sense of itself, of what is happening in local communities in the way that I have witnessed it as president, I think that's possibly the most important way in which to build on the modern Donegal and build on it in a way that does create not just local jobs but local pride, local sense of value, and of course an attraction to visitors from outside Donegal. If I sound very positive and very, that I haven't talked about the downside, it's because I'm giving a witness to what I see. As I said, it's a president's eye view of what is happening in Donegal, but it is an opportunity to get a real sense of that creativity and community self-development and empowerment. And it's important for me to have that sense of what's happening here in County Donegal, because I have the great honour to represent as president. It's a personal kind of representation. It's drawing the threads together. And I'm glad to see, and this is my last point, I think, in this sort of jigsaw that I'm putting together of Donegal itself, and in a sense of the country as I go around. I'm glad to see that in this self-development and vitality on the ground and working together that is present in the parts of Donegal that I've been able to witness it, there is also a great sense of building on history and heritage. And that's very much here in Lifford. Lifford, after all, is the home of the O'Donnell clan, my mother's people. And it's also a place that has a wonderful mid-18th century courthouse, which I'm just going to go and see the display of the project for the regeneration of Lifford. And I think we underestimate, and I get that sense from representing Ireland abroad, particularly, for example, representing Ireland in somewhere like France. In every town and village in France, there is a wonderful writing up of local heritage. There isn't a single building or ruin or little gatepost in a village or town in a country, in a place comparable to Lifford in France, that wouldn't be absolutely written up, valued, accessible to local people in whatever town or area it was in, but also there for the visitors. And of course, it's obviously much easier to have access if it's in the middle of France. But although we have a challenge of being on the periphery of Europe, we also have the advantage, and this is what was said to me when I was in France, we are the under-known country, we're the hidden island of Europe. And I think we have a wonderful opportunity, through valuing our own heritage, to project that in a way that is appropriate. And we want, I think, to develop appropriate tourism and visitor centres and visitor accommodation and the kind of self-development that is in tune with and doesn't destroy the very thing that we want people to come and see. And I also get that sense in Donegal, that you have a very, very sensitive value in your concern about your natural environment and in your concern about the kind of development and the kind of tourism that you want for County Donegal. And so it really is a great joy to me to have this occasion. It seemed to be the appropriate occasion to try to be a witness to what I've seen as president since I took up office and had occasion to visit County Donegal. The proof of my enthusiasm is that I intend to come back as often as I can and have other opportunities to go around. I'm in fact delighted tomorrow to be going back to Dunlewy, because that's a small, precious community with a wonderful sense of its own self-development. And I'm delighted to mark a further stage in the whole development of the particular heritage of that area, based on the weaving tradition, based on a sense of locality, based on the strengths of that area. And it's as though I have an opportunity, in a way, to put together these various strands in a way that I think every county should do more consciously. And I've become more, I've had more of a sense of this, that apart from what is done in each area or each town in County Donegal, there must be more projection of the whole of Donegal in what it is doing in a more visible way. I know that this is happening in the various ways can be achieved of doing this through video and doing this through linkages. But I think that there is more possibility, because very often the loyalty in Ireland is to county. The loyalty is to, as I say in my case, originally born in Mayo, but a very strong loyalty to County Donegal. For the people here in this county, it's the strongest unifying bond is the allegiance to County Donegal, and there is a great possibility of building on the local self-development into an overall sense of county initiative. The initiatives that are here in County Donegal, which coming together are so positive. Forgive me, Chairman, for speaking at some length, but I do, as I say, very much appreciate this civic reception. It means a great deal to me here in County Donegal, and I've also been very pleased to have the opportunity to give you my sense of the modern Donegal and my pride in the modern Donegal. Gurmila Mahagithin.
Thank you, President, for those very encouraging words, which I assure you we do find very encouraging and appreciate very much. I ought to have at some stage conveyed apologies for some councillors who were absent. The Senator Paddy McGowan and Councillor Noel McGinley conveyed apologies to the manager. There may have been others which I haven't a note of. Now I would ask the Chairman of Donegal County Council, Councillor Jacob Newcree, to make a presentation of the Donegal Carrion China tea set to the President as a memento of this very special occasion.
Mr. President, I would ask you to accept this on behalf of the councillors, the management and all of the staff, both internal and external from County Donegal.
Thank you very much indeed.
And now I would like to ask a member of the County Council staff, Breed McGrenra, to make a presentation of a bouquet to the President. Thank you, Breed. And now I'll ask the Chairman once again to invite the President to sign the visitor's book.
Well, finally, Manager, Vice Chairman, members and staff, press, it's my pleasant duty to thank each and every person who was involved with this civic reception here today, and that goes from the top of the staff, from your manager to whatever level was involved in this. I would like, on a personal note, to record my thanks to Liam Kelly. I would like to thank the members of the press, the Garda, members of the Civil Defence, and generally the people of Lifford who are gathered for another event, but who made the President warm. The President, in her address, has set a tone for future debate in this chamber, and I hope that we'll all learn from her. If you happen to go astray, be watching down. Finally,
it might be a bit long-winded.
we're used to that. Finally, President, thank you most sincerely on behalf of everybody for gracing our chamber and gracing our council. Thank you. The acting County Secretary, Mr. Liam Kelly, will now introduce the President to members of the staff at the rear of the chamber and the hallway. So, in fact, what we would ask is that the members of the council might make their way out to the outdoors first to be ready for the other event, so that the President will have room to meet all the members of the staff.
Stop without your speech, Becky. Huh? Stop without your speech. Sorry, thank you. one of our committee members.
Hello, how are you? Pleased to meet you. Yes. Well, do it, Paul.
place. My parents in Donegal.
Well, I'm very sorry he's not with me. The engineer infection, unfortunately, and it wasn't helped by flying to France and back, and I didn't let him come with it. He belongs to these kinds of projects as well, the architectural ethics, and even courthouses like this.
Very well.
Yeah, great to see you, Paddy. Nice to see you. Yes.
Meet again, Your Excellency. Yes, you got here before me, I'm afraid.
I'll say the weather continues to reflect on
Get all the country. Atlantis.
Exactly. Let us block the rest of it.
I astonish you quite right away. The man actually.
I think it's you two, sorry. I thought he was going to be in as well. Where are you? Run this way. There we are. There we are. Take another one. Keep her going. Stop. Keep up. One more. Nice to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Lovely to be here. Thank you.
I'm the leader of the band.
Oh, yes. Oh, hey, Dan. Very well. How's Dan?
Doing a good job. How's the rain? Good job.
I'm saying it's very nice to have this uniform Guard of Honour. Look, see all these people trying to shake hands, and you're being very good.
Do the other line up. Right? Oh yeah, oh yeah. Right.
People were bought and compared with the rest of my own about 20 years ago. President, Minister for State, Chairman of the IFI, public representatives, deputies, Chairman of Donegal County Council, councillors, your lordships, reverend fathers, ladies and gentlemen. As Chairman of the Lifford Association for Tourism, Commerce and Heritage, it is indeed a great honour to welcome John B. McGuckian, Chairman of the International Fund for Ireland, who has recognised the efforts and good work of the local committee and has come here today to make an important announcement to the people of Lifford. I would also like to welcome the President of Ireland, Mary Robinson, who has come here at short notice. She's a very busy schedule, but she goes out of her way to come here to be among the people of Lifford today. And I'd like to give you a big hand of applause for our President, Mary Robinson. We have representatives from all parts and places. Bishop Daly here, the manager, county manager, also the minister, Pat the Cope Gallagher. I know that Pat had other engagements today, but when he was asked to come to Lifford, Pat came to Lifford and put off the other engagements. So I'd like to thank Pat very much for coming here. Also, the chairman of Donegal County Council, Joe Comlori, is also here. Now, as this is an important day for Lifford, I would now, without any delay, call on Mr. McGuckian, the chairman of the International Fund for Ireland, to address you.
Madam President, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be here today in Lifford to announce the support of the International Fund for the Regeneration Project in Lifford. I have been involved in very many of these, but there hasn't been any quite so exciting as this one, and I must say I'm delighted to defer to the President today in visiting Lifford. It is marvellous that she has joined us and you, the people of Lifford, in celebrating the developments that we are launching today. The International Fund is pleased to announce that we are preparing and are funding £2.5 million for the project which is being inaugurated today. It's something that's especially close to us and it has many particular attractions. One of the things that most appeals to me is the fact that it is in Lifford that we are today, that last week, or rather this morning, we were in South Derry, and 5 days ago we were in South Armagh. The International Fund for Ireland, with the very enthusiastic support of the government, both of Ireland and the government of the United Kingdom, has been given the freedom to make use of this international money to come to those parts of this country which most need it. And since I became involved, and indeed before, there was no question in any of our minds but that Lifford particularly was one of those places which most deserved our assistance. The only reason that we were able to come to Lifford was because the local community put the work that they did into it, and I have to congratulate Ben here, who led the local committee and who, working hard, put together a package of developments which were almost impossible to resist. The fact that they worked together, the fact that Donegal County Council were prepared to support them, and indeed are putting up very substantial funds as part of our contribution, and that associated with that private people were prepared to put money in, was something that was vital to the whole concept. And indeed Paddy Hart, who works for the International Fund in this part of the world, was incessant in his pressurising both the board and all the executives of the fund to make sure that this money came to Lifford. And it's only the first stage, because I believe that as Lifford gets this operation off the ground, and as the commission which is being put together by Strabane and Lifford start thinking out how best we can do it, the fund is standing ready to do anything that it can to working both in Strabane and in Lifford to ensure that this is only the first stage of what the people of Lifford and indeed the surrounding areas deserve. I have to say that if I, as I am doing next week, going to report to the Senate and the House of the United States what it is we are doing with these funds, if I can tell them of the enthusiasm and of the excitement that there is in Lifford in terms of the support for what it is their money is doing, and for the hope, and I hope the regeneration that it brings to Lifford, I can tell you that they will approve of what it is we are doing. I'm delighted to have come here today to be associated with all those people who have worked for this development, and to formally announce that the fund is committing 2.5 million, and to wish the people of Strabane and Lifford, or rather of Lifford and Strabane, every success as this development moves forward. Thank you all very much.
Now, as you probably can see, the sun has come out in Lifford. It's raining in Dublin today. If you were to look at the weather forecast, you'd think it's always raining in Donegal. But I think the President can take the word back that the sun does shine in Donegal. Now, I'd like to thank Mr McGuckian and welcome the decision of the International Fund for Ireland to provide £1.54 million for Lifford. Now, it's something that we never really dreamt about. And when we started as a committee here 2 years ago, and we had Paddy Hart Jr., who gave us every encouragement along the way, we didn't think that this day would come, because Lifford, as you all know, people who are living in it, have suffered over the years because of the border. And that is the reason why it's more than welcome that this funding has been provided for Lifford. Now, we're delighted that working with the International Fund, we're able to launch the Lifford Regeneration Project. The project will help realise the development potential of the town's resources, both human and natural, and the surrounding area, for the good of all the people, and by so doing, it will foster pride in the local community, in their town. As I said, Lifford has suffered badly over the years because of its close proximity to the border. The difference in prices between Strabane and Lifford have completely ruined the commercial life of this town. Business is almost non-existent, and the town has become run down, and generally people have lost hope of seeing any light at the end of the tunnel. People will find it hard to believe that Lifford is the administrative capital of Donegal. Now, we hope that this investment by the IFI will herald the beginning of a new dawn for this town. And I think it is important to remember that Donegal County Council will contribute almost £500,000 to our project. And I'd like to take this opportunity of thanking the Assistant County Manager, Mr William Maloney, the County Manager, Mr Seamus Dooley, and the councillors for the support and encouragement they have given our committee. I would also like to thank L.A.T.C.H. A lot of people didn't know what L.A.T.C.H. meant, but if you look up behind me here, I sometimes forget myself. You'll find out. I also would like to thank the Lifford Interest Group for Heritage and Tourism, who initiated the project in the courthouse, which is going to be turned into a heritage centre. A special word of thanks again to Paddy Hart Jr., the IFI representative in Donegal, without whose help this would not be possible. Paddy helped us all along the way. He gave us all the encouragement that we required to make sure, and he assured us that Mr John McGuckian would come up with the money. So today, John McGuckian has come up with the money. There are one or two other people I would like to thank, and one is Gay Moynihan from the Planning Office. Gay has been a source of strength to our committee. I think she slept actually nights in the office because she was here on every occasion that we had a meeting, and she had nothing at all to do with our committee. And I'd just like to give you a round of welcome for Gay Moynihan. I'd also like to thank Fionnuala McGeever from the FAS office and everybody else who helped in any way to make this day possible. Now I'd like to introduce you now to our guest of honour, who in spite of a very busy schedule accepted the invitation of L.A.T.C.H. to be with us here today in Lifford. It is indeed a great honour to welcome to Lifford the first President of Ireland to visit this town, Her Excellency Mary Robinson, President of Ireland.
Chairman of L.A.T.C.H., Minister, Chairman of Donegal County Council, Bishop Daly, Chairman of the International Fund for Ireland, but probably, if they'll forgive me, most of all, people and children of Lifford. I'm delighted. I'm delighted to come here this evening on my first visit as President to Lifford. I say my first visit because I have absolutely no doubt that there will be others. Donegal is a county that I understandably feel at home in, and I'm very pleased to have various opportunities to come around and to value some of the things that are happening on the ground that are part of the modern Donegal. But first of all, I'd just like to express appreciation of the warmth of the welcome that I've had on this visit here. The very nice uniformed Guard of Honour of the Cubs and the Scouts, the local band who played so well and have, I think, reflected the mood here in the sunshine in the square in Lifford. And you may have noticed that I went inside to the County Council headquarters for a short while and received a very warm civic reception as President. A civic reception that honoured the office of President, which I hold, but was also an extremely warm and for me very moving official welcome here to this beloved county, County Donegal. And so why in particular am I here in Lifford? Well, as you've heard, there is a project which is being both announced and, if you like, started in the sense of officially and publicly given its first outing this evening. But it's a project that has involved a lot of work by those who have given a great commitment. It is the Lifford Regeneration Project, and it is being put together and steered by the association called L.A.T.C.H., the Lifford Association for Tourism, Commerce and Heritage. Thank goodness they've got a short name like L.A.T.C.H., so you don't have to repeat that too often. But when I heard about what was involved, I immediately felt that this was a project that I would like to come and value as President of Ireland, because it's the kind of integrated project that we most need in the modern Ireland, in towns like Lifford. In towns like Lifford that have a very close link across the border with the sister town Strabane. In a town like Lifford that has seen hard times aggravated by its closeness to that very border. And it's time that we saw the positive side, and we saw the opportunities for community development. And I'm very pleased to witness the very substantial support of the International Fund for Ireland, as announced by its chairman, John McGuckian. A sum of over 1.5 million into a town like Lifford is a very significant sum, matched by the huge support from Donegal County Council itself, to make this whole project, as it develops, a project that has a value on it at the moment of 2.5 million. That's simply a money value. But the value in terms of regenerating Lifford is potentially enormous. And that's why I'm very glad that there are a lot of young and very young, what was that? A lot of young and very young people listening to me, because regeneration means making young. It means revitalising and creating a Lifford that everybody here in this town can be proud of. And there are reasons to be proud. I was delighted to be able to go into the old courthouse here and learn a bit more of its history. I have a certain association, after all. My mother was an O'Donnell, and therefore the fact that this will be part of the Heritage Centre with a particular emphasis on the O'Donnell clan and also on the background to the courthouse itself. Its role as a courthouse, its role as a prison will all be developed both for the people of Lifford and for visitors to this part of the county. I'm also very glad that there are other major projects, a major project to look at the beautiful river and the whole site of Lifford and to develop the riverfront, a project to develop the two fine old buildings as a business enterprise centre. Now, what I like about the whole approach, and it is the kind of approach that I know the International Fund for Ireland particularly supports, is that it is a rounded, integrated approach. It's not one single thing. It's not just being concerned about the architectural heritage or tourism or a business centre or jobs for young people here in Lifford. It's all of those things in an integrated way. And that's why the project is a genuine regenerative project. It's a project that will develop because you have here in Lifford an association with a commitment to its development, the association which is going to be spearheading on behalf of Dublin County Council, or Donegal County Council, on behalf of the International Fund for Ireland, but in particular on behalf of you here, the people of Lifford. These kinds of projects are the most important development, in my personal view, as President of Ireland, for the future of this country. They're all about local empowerment, power here locally in Lifford to redefine Lifford as part of the modern Ireland, to revitalise the buildings here in Lifford, to give business enterprise, to have opportunities to build up the local environment. This, in fact, is the way in which we can ensure that we pass on to these youngsters, these children, the heritage of living and growing up in Lifford, and hopefully more and more of them being able to stay and work and have futures here in Donegal and here in Ireland. This is the bricks and mortar of the future of this country, this kind of integrated regeneration of towns like Lifford. It is surprising how successful regeneration can be. Bishop Daly knows how much I was impressed on my recent visit to Derry City to see the regeneration of the inner heart of Derry, a great cross-community project done by an inner city trust that drew everybody together, just as the Lifford Association for Tourism, Commerce and Heritage reaches out and brings in everybody involved and is supported by Donegal County Council, by FÁS, by all the other forces of the state. And so I'm delighted, in the presence of the Minister, in the presence of elected representatives, Dáil deputies and councillors from County Donegal, delighted and proud to be here to officially value this Lifford regeneration project. Mar sin, tá áthas ar leithéireann, bheith an seo aniu, ar an lá álinn seo, agus tám fear buíochtaíomh as an báilte láithliúnmhar a chuirsibh roim inniu. Agus tá an áthas ar an ócáid starúil seo, an anad seo agus an project seo a chur oscailt go hifigiúil. Gur míle maith go léir.
Now, on behalf of L.A.T.C.H and the people of Lifford, I wish to thank Mary Robinson, the President of Ireland, for her kind remarks about Lifford. We always haven't been too kindly to Lifford, but the President thinks in a different light than we are. So if she sees something good in it, then the local community should see something good in it. And I'd just like to add that O'Donnell flag and the O'Donnell inscription is not for myself. Some people thought this morning it was for myself. In fact, one of my young lads said the thing is for you. So, but it's not. It's for the honour of the President, whose mother was from Donegal and was an O'Donnell from Inishowen, and also the fact that the O'Donnells, who ruled Donegal for 400 years, from 1200 to 1600, had one of their main bases in Lifford, and this courthouse stands on the site of the old O'Donnell Castle, built by chief and scholar Manus O'Donnell in 1537, where he wrote the life of Columkill, which is now in the Bodleian Library in Oxford. It was also here in this castle that the famous Red Hugh O'Donnell planned many of his battles against the English. Unfortunately, he was defeated at Kinsale, and we are as we are today. But, as they say, Bila, Elig and Buera. And this is the reason that the O'Donnell flag flies in Lifford today. Again, thanks very much to everyone who came and made this day so success. Now, I know the President is in a big rush, but I think it would be only appropriate that there's two people here, one person who went out of his way to be here. I give him 1 minute to say a few words, and that's it. And that is the Chairman, Joe Cumlonry, and Pat the Cope Geller. 1 minute each.
Uchtran, here in Aspig, Chaiher Lagus Banisher in the Colia Condi, a Chaiher La Kistja, the Nations in the Hearn, a Chakti Dala, a Colliery, Agus the Chaijugal Year. Tan Luher Armsa, a Ve Livsha, Eran Tranona Tantneva, Agus Eran Tranona Starrewell Shaw, Nura Togra Forbra da Lifford, Shalta Gohafigel, Egg Ashalcha, Maya Vic Robin, Uchtran the Hearn. Agus Boy Lumsa, Magu Achar, Lestadini Ella Lower. Agus Falcha I Cali a Currev Uchtran the Hearn, a Salcha, Waya Vic Robin, Guji and Condi Shaw, Arish. Stamp Mayan Wea, Donagriact, Osrade, Gortagu Karudu, Vehalahar and Shaw, Eran La Starrewell, Agus Eran La Tanheva Shaw. I'm particularly delighted to be here today, and I wish to thank the Lifford Association for Tourism, Commerce and Heritage, or L.A.T.C.H, for inviting me. And I wish to congratulate the Association for the very hard work which they have put into this project, which is coming to fruition today. And I want to compliment them on the imaginative way in which they have drawn up the regeneration strategy with the IFI, which has now been supported by the IFI, and I wish to thank them on behalf of the government through their chairman, John McGuickin, who is with us this afternoon. I'm extremely confident that the project will prove most beneficial in developing the potential of Lifford, and not just the potential of Lifford, but indeed the potential of its people. The area, as your chairman, Ben O'Donnell, has pointed out, it has suffered over the years, both in economic and in social terms. And this £2.5 million package, funded by the International Fund for Ireland, with the assistance from Donegal County Council, is indeed well merited. While Lifford is the administrative capital of the county, I feel this project will give the town of Lifford the improved image which it deserves in this regard. And in complementing the International Fund for Ireland, not only in regard to this project, but also in regard to the very worthwhile and excellent work which the project has assisted in, and which the IFI have assisted in over the last number of years. And of course I would like to compliment Donegal County Council for their major contribution towards this particular project. L.A.T.C.H has put a great deal of hard work and effort into bringing this project to this stage of development, and I'm extremely confident, as I know all of you are, that they will pursue the implementation of the scheme with the same vigour and with the same enthusiasm, thus ensuring its success in the future. Guillaume Gachrat J. Arvsha agus Aranabar Atalijanu Snamiana agus Nablinta Atamahoin Gormila Maigo.
Thank you, Pat. I would like to introduce now the Chairman of the Council, Joe Condorry. Make it short.
The Chairman of L.A.T.C.H, Your Excellency, Minister, County Manager, Chairman of IFI and Bishop, but particularly in this instance, may I address my remarks directly to the hard-working committee behind me on the platform, to whom my council, through its management and through all of its councillors, will give full support for this project. We in Donegal County Council know that the funding that you're about to receive from the IFI, the International Fund from Ireland, that we and others must provide the seed capital. We in Donegal County Council therefore are committed to the project, and I have no doubt that the members of my council from outside the general Lifford area, or indeed the Letterkenny electoral area, will support this project because we know it's worth Ben in real terms. Might I just say to Ben O'Donnell, if he thinks that the last O'Donnell stronghold in Lifford is long gone, it's not, because we in the council have given you Ben O'Donnell from our staff in there to be chairman of your committee here. But we have another stronghold inside when Eddie O'Donnell gets into full flight on some occasions. And I notice Sean O'Donnell down here in front of me. All I want to say finally, to renew my welcome to you, Your Excellency, on your visit to Lifford, to commend all those who made Lifford Square tidy today, to commend the Garda, which I've done inside already, the Garda, and the Civil Defence and the Army for putting their powers at our disposal, and to wish this project of L.A.T.C.H every success. Thank you.
Just to wind up, I would like to thank Joe Condorry and Pat the Cope Geller, as I said, who represent the Taoiseach here today. And as I said, Lifford is looking really well today, and somebody said this morning, it's a pity the President wouldn't come every day. Now that might be a bit unfair to the people who did all the work. I know that they did all the work in getting this place into the shape, but that's what we want to see in the future. Not just because the President comes, but for every day of the year we want to see Lifford looking well. And I would like to thank a few people here before we finish, particularly the Morlock Band, who give us such nice rendering of music today. The Scouts who turned out here and did a guard of honour. And everybody in the town and the people who turned out in such large numbers to give the President and all the other members here such a huge welcome. Thank you all very much.
Hello, how are you? Fine. Yes, indeed. Yes, no, you're quite right. Exactly, how is he going? He will. Just never see it at all. Sorry, how are you keeping? How are you keeping?
Thank you very much.
Good.
Jerome, man, here, Joe Hunter.
Nice to meet you. How are you? Good to see you. Thanks very much. Thank you again. How are you?
They say they're in the car. Which one? Come on. They've only punched one on the day. They've only punched.
Don't hit for this, boys.
Nearly 500 people this far, wouldn't it?
Or you'd say more, 600.
Well, 600.
800 at a crush when you're packing.
Let's do something.
That was part of the presidential video.
Let's do something up our side.
There would be.
So leisure centre?
Leisure centre. You don't think it'll be so close to home? Sort of hang in there.
Not what I thought,
They have everything there. A multi-purpose amusement arcade. Is that a fitness? Drying laundry. I bet that somewhere that's the hostel somewhere there. Right? So that's obviously what they play.
That'll be full around here.
Fun pool, crazy golf, theme park, a bowling alley, bar, restaurant.
They have been the bigger for it there.
Kevin, I'm going to ask for Rita to help and we'll shift these gently back into this ship. So the way to have latch going backwards like that. The reason you help me. good photograph of it. No, I insist.
No.
Have you got a photograph there for posterity? If you take these things at least in a later pack, I'll get it on video.
Got a photograph.
Mr. Chairman, would you stand up there, please? Be upstanding. Be upstanding.
On behalf of L.A.T.C.H, Mr. Chairman, what did you have in your hand?
Whose idea is this? You started, you have to come this Thanks very much. Okay.